Apples of Gold presents a radio adaptation of It Happened on Fifth Avenue. The year is 1947. The Michael J. O'Connor Mansion on Upper Fifth Avenue is one of the showplaces of New York City. But on this blustery November afternoon, it stands empty, its windows tightly boarded up for the winter. Michael O'Connor is at his plantation in Virginia, his divorced wife is in Florida, and Trudy, their daughter, is at finishing school. That is, up to 2 hours ago, Trudy was at finishing school.
It's true, Mr. O'Connor. Your daughter's run away from school.
Well, I won't stand for it. You hear? I want the best detective agency in New York. Tell them to keep in constant touch with me.
Yes, sir. The board of directors are waiting. The building project, sir?
Oh, yeah. Let's get it over with. No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Look at this newspaper.
Yes, I've already seen it.
Look at this photograph. Evicted veteran calls O'Connor octopus. To build our office building, we have to tear down that apartment. Before we can tear down that apartment, the tenants have to be evicted. Isn't that simple enough?
Yes, sir.
Well, next time, no pictures in the paper. You understand? No pictures.
Well, while this is going on, while Trudy is running away and building projects are being projected, a rather dumpy, shabbily dressed gentleman furtively slipped through the high board fence in the back of the O'Connor Fifth Avenue mansion. He lifts up the iron cover of the coal chute and disappears into the O'Connor cellar. 1 hour later, resplendent in a high silk hat, white trousers, and a walking stick, he's strolling leisurely in an adjacent park.
Oh, what a wonderful feeling. I've never felt this. Oh, good afternoon. You mind if I share the bench with you?
No, but I resent calling this bench a bench. It happens to be my new home.
Your home?
Yes. And Michael J. O'Connor is an octopus, a human octopus, slowly strangling civilization in his tentacles.
He is?
Yeah, I've been evicted. Michael J. O'Connor just threw me out of my apartment.
Oh, it's a terrible thing, isn't it? This housing problem.
Well, you know, I'd settle for an upholstered, steam-heated gutter.
I solved my residential problem years ago.
Judging from your clothes, you could afford to.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but if you're in trouble and have no place to go, you can be my guest for the night.
Oh, no. Thanks a lot, but I'll manage somehow.
Oh, it's getting dark now. I'll be happy to have you.
Well, you know, something, Pop, I think maybe I'll take you up on that.
You will? Fine. Fine. It's that lovely house just over there.
That's your house?
Well, let's just say I live there. Well, try one of these cigars. Nothing like a good cigar, is there? Oh, here you are, my boy. Well, how do you like your room?
Giving me a place to sleep, huh? Passing out cigars, huh? Well, you snake in the grass, I could break both your legs.
Oh, I was afraid you'd...
Now look, when you brought me through that fence, I didn't say anything, did I? I figured you were eccentric, maybe, okay? Or when we came through the servants' quarters.
Yes, but I explained. This house is boarded up.
Shut up. Just tell me what it says here on this silver loving cup. Read it.
It says, winner, Newport Yacht Races, Michael J. O'Connor.
Yeah, the great Michael J. O'Connor in person. Well, listen here, Moneybags. Are you so wrapped up in yacht races you'd forgotten there's a human race?
Oh, my boy. Much to my regret, you forced me to divulge a secret. I am not Mr. O'Connor. My name is McKeever, Aloysius T. McKeever.
Well, then where's O'Connor?
Well, in Virginia, a place called Bubbling Springs. It's quite beautiful there.
Oh, yeah, but you're a friend of O'Connor's, yeah?
Well, let us say Mr. O'Connor is a friend of mine. You see,
Jim Bullock?
Yes, well, you see, Jim, every fall, Mr. O'Connor goes to Virginia. As soon as he leaves here, I move in. It's been a very satisfactory arrangement.
Oh, hey, the lights. The lights just went out.
Oh, it can't be them. It's too early.
It can't be who. And who's too early?
Oh, never mind.
Say, did you say you live here alone?
Yes.
Well, you got company. Somebody's coming up the stairs. It's a girl.
No, I don't understand this at all. I suggest we hide in here.
Hide.
Yes. Shh.
Look, I don't get this. so I
I'll
don't-
explain, but later.
Gotta hurry, Trudy. Just grab your things and get out of the house. Oh, my mink coat.
You got pretty good taste, haven't you?
Oh,
Come on, sister, shed the mink.
who are you?
Me, I'm a fur trapper. Come on, give.
Get your hands off me.
No, I'd surrender the coat if I were you, young woman.
Just what are you two? Get out of here before I call the police.
Police. Oh, well, go call ahead. There's a phone right there. Call the police.
You bet I will.
Just a moment, please. I'd better take that telephone.
Hey, where are you going with it?
Just out in the hall. Jim, I think you'd better come with me, if you'll excuse us, miss.
Okay, well, shh. What you got that phone for?
Jim, I'm afraid we're in no position to let her call the police.
Why not?
That young lady, no matter who she is, has as much right here as us.
Oh, now look, I don't get this. You're a guest of O'Connor's, aren't you?
Well, yes, except Mr. O'Connor doesn't know about it. You see, I've never even laid eyes on him.
You mean you live here without any permission?
Aha!
But how do you get away with it?
Oh, it's not difficult. He never comes back until March 15th. I leave on March 13th. It works out very well that way.
You old boss.
Oh, I never do any harm. As a matter of fact, I do a lot of good. I dust off the furniture, wind up the clocks, and take these clothes I'm wearing. If it weren't for me, they've been in the closet, gathering moths. I take a different suit out every day for a nice airing.
All right, but that girl in there, what are we going to do about her?
Well, you just leave it to me, Jim. Come on. Oh, young woman, we've decided
Please,
that...
you won't call the police. Oh, I know I shouldn't have broken in here, but I'm applying for a job tomorrow.
Oh,
and
sure, yeah.
It's true. Here, look. Here's the ad.
Girl wanted to sell sheet music. Apply Times Square Melody Shop.
Oh, sure, you got to wear a mink coat to work in a music shop.
Yeah, young lady, there's a law against breaking into people's houses.
Yes, I know.
What's your name?
Smith, Trudy Smith.
Where do you live, Miss Smith?
In Dubuque with my 13 brothers and sisters.
14 children. My.
The neighbors must call your house the stork house.
Are you sure you've...
Hey, the lights again.
Oh, dear. That's the Gates Patrol. They watch the house. Out of sight now. Quick.
Here we go again.
What's going on here?
I can't explain now, Miss Smith. Hide in the icebox. Follow me.
Oh, it's cold in here. I'm freezing.
Shh. It takes them about 10 minutes to look around.
Here, put on my jacket.
Oh, but
Come on, put it on.
thank you.
Now, get as close to me as you can. There. How's that?
That's much better. Thank you.
Hey, we should all do this a little more often.
Oh, we will. We will. You really should see this icebox with the lights on. It's as big as a barn and just loaded down with wonderful things to eat.
Now, look, Pops, what exactly is going on here?
The Gates Patrol. They just stopped to see if everything's all right. They were a little early tonight.
But the blackout.
Oh, I'm really quite proud of that. I arranged a gadget that connects the front door with the main electricity switch. Whenever the front door opens, all the lights go out.
But why do we have to hide in the icebox?
Well, you may as well know, Trudy. I'm an interloper here, same as you.
You mean you go through this every night?
Oh, you get used to it. In fact, it's kind of fun after a while. well, we can go out now. They're gone. Oh, wait a second here. I'll find the switch and I'll turn it back on. There. There we are. Oh, don't worry. They can't see the lights from the street. All the windows are boarded up.
Yeah, it's time to defrost.
Now, about you, Trudy, I guess we won't call the police after all.
Oh, how can I thank you, Mr.
McKeever. Aloysius T. McKeever. And this is Jim Bullock.
I'll give you a tip, Miss Smith. New York is no place for a kid without friends.
Yes, you'd better go straight back home.
Oh, please. I just can't go back. My father's a terrible drunkard. He's lazy and he beats us
All 14 of you?
every night.
Your old man's not that lazy.
Well, I wouldn't want any girl to go home to a brute like that. I suppose you can stay here.
Oh, thank you.
Just for the night, mind you.
Oh,
You can sleep in the room where we found you. Be sure to make your bed in the morning and don't touch anything.
I won't.
Oh, good night, Trudy.
Good night. Good night, Jim.
Huh? Oh, good night.
So, you got the job, Trudy? Well, that's just fine.
$30 a week, Mr. McKeever, and I start tomorrow. Is that Jim in there?
Yes, and some friends of his. Oh, I'm being placed in a very awkward position, Trudy.
Why, what's the matter?
Well, come in. Maybe you can settle down.
Well, I'm sure glad you got the job, Trudy. I'd like to meet my friends here, Trudy Smith, Whitey Johnson and his wife Marjorie, and Hank Anderson and his wife Alice Anderson. Whitey and Hank, they were my buddies in the war.
It's a
How do you do?
it's
Good to meet you.
wonderful.
Good to
to
meet
meet
you.
you. And don't forget the Anderson baby.
Don't cry, darling. It's all right.
All right? No, it's criminal. It's inhuman.
What's inhuman?
They've been evicted, same as I was. They were living in a trailer out in Flatbush.
Now take it easy, Jim. You can't blame Mr. McKeever.
Mac, look, you simply can't turn these people out into the street.
Oh, this is very embarrassing.
Well, if you're O'Connor's guest here, I'm O'Connor's guest here, okay? Well, we'll all be O'Connor's guests here together, huh?
Me too?
Well, why not, Trudy? There are 43 rooms.
Not in my 20 years of living as a guest in other people's homes have I ever been faced with a situation like this. Still, we can't very well turn children away. Just look at her. Oh, coochie, oh, little Skippy. Dimples. Well, I guess we'll be able to manage somehow.
Oh, thank you.
so much.
Appreciate it. Very nice of you. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Look at the baby smiling at me.
Come on in, Mac. Sit down. Join us.
Talking business, boys.
Sort of, Mr. McKeever. Where are the girls?
They're doing the dinner dishes. And kind of nice having them around.
It's nice to have a place to be around in.
Tut, tut, tut.
It's like I was saying, Jim. While we were in the Army, we heard about all those $150 a week jobs. What happened to them?
Some guys seem to get by without anything, without experience, even without money. How do you do it, Mr. McGeever?
Well, I believe that people who require money should work for it. As for myself, I gave up working years ago. Never could make enough to satisfy my lavish tastes. So I let other people work for it, and I enjoy it. Oh, have a few of Mr. O'Connor's cigars.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks, but suppose you had a wife and a kid and had to make dough.
My boy, making money is simply a matter of analysis. Analyze what people want most and give it to them. What do you want most?
Better job.
And a place to live.
Exactly. You'll find plenty of vacancies if you boys will just use your heads. Oh, that came out a little different from the way I meant it. Excuse me.
Well, where are all those vacancies?
Army barracks. Vacant Army barracks.
Army barracks. Yeah, sure. Why, sure, it's made to order. I can redesign them, a few plumbing changes, a closet space, landscaping.
Hey, where do we get the dough?
The dough? Why? Well, we get the dough from the same place we get the labor. 200 or 300 XGIs just like us, all chipping in, and we'd all be partners.
Gentlemen, the problem of capital is secondary. The first thing to consider is which camp to reconvert. Do any of you know Camp Kilson?
Yeah, Whitey, now we're inducted there.
Kilson would be great, but how do we find out if it's up for sale?
Oh, it's for sale, all right. I read it in the newspaper. but you'll have to go down to Washington and get all the details.
My wife knows all the ropes down there. Alice and I can go if Trudy and Margie can take care of the baby.
Yeah, and I will personally mix its drinks. I mean, supervise his formula.
Come on, let's tell the girls.
Hello?
I have bubbling springs for you, Mr. Farrell. Go ahead.
Hello, Mr. O'Connor.
Well, speak up, Farrell. What is it? What is it?
I found your daughter, Mr. O'Connor. She's using the name of Trudy Smith, and she's got a job here in New York.
A job? Great Scott. Where?
The Times Square Melody Shop. I'll have our lawyers go down there and pick her up.
No. Those fatheads have enough handling that Camp Kilson deal.
Yes, sir. I certainly hope you'll be able to buy Camp Kilson from the government, sir.
Well, of course we'll buy it. We'll just outbid all competitors. I'll go and get my daughter myself. I'll charter a plane and
Well, good night, Mr. Clipman. I'll see you Monday.
wouldn't be so sure of that, Trudy.
Father,
Trudy, why did you do it, dear? Why did you run away?
if you don't know, Dad, I'm sure I'll never be able to explain.
Well, get in the car.
Yes, Father.
Drive us to my office, Henry.
Yes, sir.
Dad, I am not going back to finishing school
And why not?
because I'm finished. Besides, I've met someone, Dad. I'm in love, I think.
Ridiculous. Never mind the office, Henry. Drive straight to the house.
Oh, no, not the house.
Are you out of your head? Why can't I drive to my own house?
Because I'm staying there. Only they don't know that I'm me. Mr. McKeever and Jim and...
Who in the blazes are they?
Mr. McKeever is the man who moves in when you move out. And Jim, oh, he's wonderful, Father. He thinks I'm a thief and you're a drunkard and beat me.
Mr. McKeever? Oh, this is fantastic. My goodness, I'll have the police up there in 5 minutes.
All right, Dad, call the police. Have it your way. You always do.
Oh, Trudy, please. Now, what is it, honey? Can't we talk this over like two sensible people? Why don't you tell me what's troubling you?
Oh, Dad, I've been terribly unhappy ever since you and Mother. Dad, I've been so lonely. That's why I ran away.
Ah, I see. Well, what do you want me to do?
I want you to meet Jim.
All right, I'll meet him.
You will?
Yes.
Oh, Dad, thank you. Oh, but not as Michael O'Connor.
Well, what's wrong with Michael O'Connor?
Nothing, but if Jim knew who you really were, I'd always wonder
Wonder about what?
if he were really thinking of me or your bank account.
Oh, Trudy, this is
Oh,
just...
Dad, please, let me have my way just this once.
All right. Now what?
Henry,
Yes, miss.
drive to the east side. Henry, to one of those secondhand clothing stores.
What in the world for?
Well, if you're going to be a bum, you'll have to look like one.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Well, it's an hour later, and in Finkelhoff's second-hand clothing store, Mr. Michael J. O'Connor, second richest man in the world, stands aghast in front of a dilapidated mirror, while Mr. Finkelhoff proudly displays his handiwork.
Well, there you are, mister. $12 for everything. Already you look good.
Trudy, look at me. Just look at me. I look like a tramp.
Dad, that was the idea of it.
Here, a fine derby hat, hardly faded. Compliment to the house.
Oh, Trudy, this is positively outrageous.
A derby hat, coming maybe from the head of a duke.
Oh, all right. Give it to me. $12, huh?
Less 10% discount in keeping with the White House policy.
Never mind that. Now, tell me, how much will you give for my suit?
Well, love $6.
$6?
Oh, your suit is all wool, maybe?
Well, certainly it's all wool.
Oh, that's bad.
Wool is bad?
Mister, look. When the moths are hearing I got here an old suit, one moth tells another they're coming for a banquet. They're bringing their friends. Pretty soon I've got a moth convention. A spray gun I gotta buy, and insecticide. All night long, I'm staying and spraying. I'm not coming home. My wife, she's getting mad. She's taking her bags and going to Reno. She's getting a divorce. What am I getting? Custody of the moths. Alimony I'm paying. Payments are missing. To jail I'm going. My business, I'm losing. I'm a bum. All because you are bringing in here an owl suit.
Trudy, for heaven's sake, let's get out of here.
You understand everything, Father? Sit on the bench here in the park until we walk past. I'll notice how awful you look and suggest to Mr. McKeever.
That McKeever invite me to my own house.
Exactly. Now don't worry. I'll try not to be too long. You see, Dad, I told you Mr. McKeever would invite you to live with us. Everything is working out fine. Now, how did you like Jim?
Well, I haven't made up my mind yet. I'm going up to my room.
Oh, no, Dad. Mr. McKeever told you to wait right here in the hall. He'll tell you where you can sleep later.
Well, whose house is it?
Now sit down.
What are all those clotheslines doing in here? Is this my house or a laundry? Are those diapers?
Well, eventually you'll see the baby.
The baby. The baby?
Oh, come and get it, Mike.
Come and get what?
Food. Now, shh. I told Mr. McKeever you were starving. Here we come, Mr. McKeever.
Well, Mike, like I told you in the park, we can't have every bum in New York living here, but I suppose one more won't matter.
Well, thank you.
So just make yourself right at home.
Yeah, I'll try. That's a mighty nice lounging robe you're wearing there.
Oh, yes, it's pure silk. And notice the braid work on the cuffs. Say, maybe I'll let you wear it sometime.
Well, of course, I wouldn't think of depriving you. That cigar smells pretty good, too.
Yeah, well, I might let you smoke one after dinner.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Well, come sit down, Mike. Go ahead. Dig in.
No, I'd better not.
Don't you like bologna?
All I want is milk and crackers.
Ah, speaking of milk, Trudy, don't forget the baby's bottle.
Oh, my goodness. It's way past his feeding time.
Look at her run, Mike. Great little mother, isn't she?
Yes, great. Now, what about did you say mother? Baby? Oh, my goodness. Trudy, wait a minute.
Mike, where are you going?
I'm going crazy. Trudy, wait a minute. Trudy?
What is the matter with you, Father? I'm trying to give the baby his bottle.
Trudy, I simply have to talk with you.
Just look at this angel. You know he's got dimples exactly like yours.
Well, now, Trudy, I'm going to be very, very calm. What's done is done. I consent to your marriage.
Then you like Jim. Oh, Dad, I knew you would. You'll like him better, too, when you get to know him.
Well, I doubt it. But if you're married, well, then you're married.
But, Dad, we're not married.
You're not married?
I don't even know if he wants to marry me.
If he wants to, oh my goodness. What kind of man is he? I'll kill him. I'll kill him with my bare hands.
Well, hello.
Well, come in, Alice. Meet Mike.
How do you do?
And just who do you think you are? How do you do?
What's the matter with him?
I wish I knew.
You wish you knew.
Please calm down, Mike. Well, Alice, how was Washington?
A madhouse. Did you enjoy playing nursemaid? Hello, darling. Did you miss your mommy?
Oh, Alice, he's wonderful. I only wish he were mine.
But wait a minute.
Well,
Whose baby is this? Is this your baby, young woman?
Well, my husband has a half interest.
Yeah, pretty little thing, isn't he?
You know, Mike, you wouldn't have to eat milk and crackers if you didn't have ulcers, and you wouldn't have ulcers if you watched that temper of yours.
Any more suggestions?
No. Look what you've done. Milk all over the tablecloth.
I'm very sorry.
Oh, you're terribly sloppy, Mike, aren't you? You'll have to be more orderly or you can't stay. Under the circumstances, you'd better make your sleeping quarters in the service hall. Sam sleeps there, too.
Sam? You mean there's someone else living here I haven't met?
Oh, Sam is my dog. He barks at 7 a.m., so I let him out in the yard, and I won't have to get up so early then.
Are those orders?
Well, for a while, until you prove yourself a little more cooperative.
Well, in that case, good night.
Good night, Mike.
Hey, how you doing, Mike?
And you can mind your own business, too.
Oh, brother. What a character. Well, Mac, you want to hear what happened in Washington? Go ahead, Whitey, tell him.
Well, briefly, Mr. McKeever, the government is willing to sell Camp Kilson, but there's a catch.
Yeah, and there's always a catch. They've already had an offer of $150,000. You know who from? That bloated billionaire, Michael J. O'Connor.
What does he want with that property? Hasn't he got enough?
Well, the things for you to do, boys, is raise O'Connor's bids. Offer the government $160,000.
Where are we going to get that kind of money?
Hey, there's no harm in making an offer. If they accept, then it's time to worry about where you're going to get the money. The essence of big business, gentlemen, is never put one worry ahead of another. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'd better go take Sam for a walk.
Operator, I was connected with, yeah, hello, Farrell. Well, certainly this is Mr. O'Connor. No, I'm not kidnapped. No, I'm in town, in an icebox. I can't tell you where. Now listen, wire Wickersham and tell him I'll take $6 million for that West Coast chain and not a cent less. Right. Now, is Phillips back from Washington? Well, why isn't he back? Well, all right. Tell him I'll call him sometime tomorrow. Meanwhile,
Come out of the icebox, Mike. Oh, just look at him, Jim.
If you insist on using the phone in the icebox, Mike, wear an overcoat at least.
yes, sir.
We know it's a great temptation, but you must simply learn to control it.
Control what?
All this playing at being a millionaire. We heard you.
Yeah, just because you're living in a millionaire's house, you can't let it get to your head.
Maybe I am a millionaire.
Sure.
All right, Mike, you're a millionaire. And since you decided not to go to bed, you've got a million dishes to wash. Come on. This way, Mike.
Dad, are you awake?
Certainly I'm awake. How and where am I supposed to sleep?
In the bed, of course.
I can't. The dog is sleeping in the bed. He won't let me get near it. Washing dishes. A valet to a dog. He barks at 7, and I have to take him for a promenade. And as for that, Mr. McBeadle, who smokes my cigars and wears my best clothes and drinks my brandy, he's leaving this house in the morning.
But Dad, you promised.
They'll all be out in 24 hours, or I'll have them locked up for vagrancy and trespassing.
Oh, Dad.
You heard me. 24 hours.
Yes. A straight telegram, please, to Mrs. Mary O'Connor, Royal Palm Hotel, Palm Beach, Florida. Dear Mother, fly please to New York at once. Will contact you at Waldorf Towers. Terribly urgent. Love, Trudy. And that's the whole story, Mother. I wouldn't have sent for you, but I just didn't know what to do.
Well, darling, I haven't seen your father in 4 years, but I think I know just how to cope with this situation.
How?
Your household will have to make room for one more guest.
Mother, you?
Why not? And don't worry, Trudy. I won't give anything away.
Oh, Mother, you're an angel.
Oh, Mike, I'm afraid I'll have to talk to you again. Mike?
Now what have I done?
You just came in the front door. Rule 1, never use that front door.
Well, I forgot.
Where'd you get the key?
I found it this morning when I was scrubbing the floor.
Well, come on. Hand it over.
I'll do no such. Here.
Thank you.
What's that smell?
What's what?
I smell something cooking. Slumgullion.
Slumgullion?
Yes, it's kind of an Irish stew. As a matter of fact, it was on account of Slumgullion that I fell in love.
Yeah, it must be quite a dish.
Yeah, she certainly was. My wife made the finest Slumgullion in New York. My George, that is Slumgullion.
It could be. We've got a cook now. Go to the kitchen and meet her.
Who cares about the cook? I want to meet the Slumgullion. Ah, Slum Goyen.
Taste familiar?
Mary?
Hello, Michael.
Well, well. May I ask, what are you doing here?
The same reason you are. Trudy wanted me to meet Jim.
Oh, and have you had that extreme pleasure?
I have, and I found him to be everything Trudy said he was.
Oh, indeed. You've taken on a little weight, haven't you? And in all the wrong places, I might add.
It's these clothes, and you're no Van Johnson yourself. I can remember when you had only 2 chins.
Well, let me tell you.
Shh.
Stop shushing me. We're going to dispose of this nonsense once and for all. Imagine our 18-year-old child wanting to marry this.
You married me when I was 17.
And look what happened to us. Mary, I resent your being here, and Trudy belongs in school, and that's where she's going.
Oh, Trudy's in love, and she wants to win Jim the hard way, not with your money. Instead of admiring her for it, you're fighting her, just as you've battled anyone who wouldn't bend to your stubbornness. You just haven't the courage to see this through.
Oh, I haven't, huh?
That's what I said.
I can stick this out as long as you can. Longer. Do you hear? Longer.
This I'll have to see. And get away from that Slumgullion before I pour it down your neck.
Well, with Trudy's mother joining Mr. McKeever's household, it appears that the entire O'Connor family is once again residing in the O'Connor mansion. Now, in the kitchen, Trudy stands helplessly by as her parents exchange a few affectionate remarks.
I'll give you just 3 days, Mary O'Connor. 3 days over these pots and pans, and you'll be slinking back to Palm Beach so fast.
Now, I'll tell you a thing or two.
You might as well realize right now that this house isn't big enough for the both of us.
All right. When are you leaving?
Hey, what's going on here?
Oh, they've been having a little argument, Jim, but it's all over.
Listen, take it easy, Mike. You know, good cooks are hard to find, man. Anything you need him to do, Mary?
Yes, he can peel these potatoes.
Before I peel potatoes,
You'll what?
I'll get a chair and sit down.
That's better. Well, Trudy, it's happened. Great news.
Tell me, what?
Well, Whitey and Hank got over 200 of the boys together, and they're all rearing to go. We're putting up an average of $500 apiece.
Jim, you'll be able to buy the property.
I've just called Wheeler Construction Company. They may even put up the rest of the money we might need. I'm going to see him again on Friday, and with any luck.
Hello? Hello? Farrell? Yeah, it's me. Listen, do we still own Wheeler Construction? Good. Now, a fellow named Jim Bullock is seeing Wheeler on Friday. He has some half-baked idea about model houses or something. He's to get routine number 6. You understand? Well, make sure Wheeler understands. Now, how are we doing on that Camp Kilson deal? Well, why don't we know who's bidding against us? All right. But I want that property. And if you need cash, transfer a couple of million from Chicago.
Mike.
I'll call you later.
I caught you again, Mike, playing millionaire in the icebox.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. McKeever. I just can't seem to break the habit.
I know. You have millions and millions of dollars hanging in the balance. But, Mike, you didn't make your bed this morning.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff.
I say we thank the cow for the sacrifice. This is good beef.
Eat up.
Without a doubt, Mary, the best hamburgers I've ever eaten.
Do you suppose I could have a little more, Mac?
Well, pass your plate, Mike. But what about your milk and cracker diet?
Well, my stomach feels a lot better.
Well, that proves what I've always believed. When a man's happy, he can eat nails.
You know, I wonder if the O'Connors are as happy in this house as we are right now.
Well, from what I hear, they're the snob, uppish people in the world.
Well, what makes you say that?
Well, take Mr. O'Connor. They tell me he's one of the worst-tempered tyrants in the United States.
Well.
Oh, well, I understand. Mrs. O'Connor is no bargain either. She spends most of her time trying not to admit she's middle-aged.
Suppose we talk about something else, hmm?
All right. Well, Mike, you had enough to eat?
Oh, yes. I feel fine.
Good. There'll be no excuses.
Excuses?
Yeah, for going to work. You see, when I lived here alone, what I ate from Mr. O'Connor's larder was never missed. But now, well, we've got to start feeding ourselves. I figure you and I can get jobs shoveling snow.
Are you serious? Now let me tell you something. Neither you nor any other man is going to make me do manual labor. And that's final.
There's a shovel in the garage, Mike. I'll get it. I must admit, Mike, for a man who wasn't going to do manual labor, you're doing just fine.
Where have you been?
Oh, I've been working hard. I've been lining up another job for you. The parking lot right there across the street.
Now listen.
Now I'd like to do something else for you. I should help. I know what. I'll see if I can find you a bigger shovel.
Hey there, Mike. We'll have a hard day, man?
No. I just shoveled off half of Manhattan. That's all. Tell me, Jim, how did you make out with Wheeler Construction?
Well, they turned down our housing proposition, but they did offer me a job. $12,000 a year in Bolivia.
Well, when are you leaving?
Kidding? Why would I go to Bolivia? Besides that, I'd have to be single.
Well,
Oh, now look, Mike, I couldn't leave Trudy. And all those fellas, why, they're all counting on me.
Jim, just what is this big idea you think so important?
Well, the government is selling Camp Kilson, and we're all trying to pitch together and buy it.
Camp Kilson?
Yeah, well, what's wrong with that?
Oh, nothing at all.
We thought we could get it cheap, but some drip has bid us up to nearly $200,000. Ah, well, tomorrow's another day.
Yeah, well, don't remind me of it. I'll have to shovel snow again. I'm going to find the liniment.
All right, if you can shovel snow, I guess I can rub your back.
Oh, thanks, Mary. Oh.
Getting in there.
Down a little further there, will you?
Oh, there?
That's it. You remember, Mary, the first time you rubbed my back? I was a bricklayer then. We had lots of fun in those days, didn't we?
You had lots of muscles.
Yeah.
Now look at you, flabby as old seal.
Who's flabby? I'm just...
Mary, Mike,
She's just rubbing my back.
Mike, I must ask you to go to your room at once.
Now, just a minute.
Go to your room. I'll talk to you in the morning, Mary.
Good morning, Mr. McKeever.
Oh, good morning, Mary. Morning, Mike. I hope you don't think I was being a bit stuffy about last night. Only remember there are young people in the house.
Oh, Mary was merely rubbing my back.
Well, not that I'm opposed to a man and woman falling in love.
Falling in love.
You two. Why, the minute you saw each other. And why not? It's never too late. Now, you take Mike. He's nice enough. However, what has he made of himself? Absolutely nothing. What you both need is responsibility. Whatever you do, don't end up like me. You know, if I were a younger man, I might be asking Mary to marry me. Well, think it over.
You know, Mary, he's right.
Is he, Michael?
Why do you think I've been hanging around here, submitting to all this? Only because you're here, Mary.
Why, Michael, you've changed. It's almost like old times again.
And I'm going to change even more, Mary. I promise.
Good evening, Michael. Another hard day shoveling snow.
Oh, Mary, my back is broken.
So are the hearts of 200 families.
What are you talking about?
This, in the evening paper, Michael J. O'Connor adds Camp Kilson to Empire. You knew Jim and his friends were trying to get that property.
No, well, yes, I did, but not until it was too late.
It's still not too late. What a nice Christmas present Camp Kilson would be for Jim and Trudy and the rest.
Oh, Mary, That idea of theirs, it's nonsensical.
It'll make an awful lot of people happy.
You never could understand the business and sentiment. Oh, look, Mary, let's not even talk about it. Is Trudy home yet?
She's out with Jim.
What? Again?
He has a lot to talk over with her. Not that you're interested.
Oh, now, Mary.
I was wrong, Michael. You haven't changed. Never will.
You haven't eaten a thing, Trudy.
I'm not hungry.
Want to dance to the phonograph?
Nope.
Oh, Trudy, look. I know you're disappointed, but O'Connor's got Camp Kilson, and I've got to get a job. So I'll have to go to Bolivia.
You must have decided in an awful hurry.
Well, it's not forever, Trudy, just a year or so.
That's a long time, Jim.
Okay then. Maybe you'd better not wait.
Maybe I shouldn't.
Well, just promise me when I'm gone you won't start breaking into people's houses again.
And what if I hadn't? Then I'd never have met you.
You'd be better off.
Would I? Maybe you're right.
I know I'm right.
Then go to Bolivia and stay there. You hear me? Stay there. So he's going to Bolivia, Mother. He's taking that job.
Well, maybe it's all for the best, Trudy.
Well, of course it is.
Trudy, did you say Wheeler Construction Company?
Yes,
And they want only single men?
that's what Jim said.
That's strange. In fact, it's ridiculous. I just remembered your father owns that company.
Dad?
Yeah, well, all right. We'll forget about Bolivia.
Michael, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. I'm leaving tomorrow. Trudy is going with me. You'll have this whole house to yourself again.
Mary.
I hope you'll be very happy.
I just can't understand it. Mike, I can't understand it.
Don't tell me you're in the dumps too, McKeever.
Oh, Jim's going to Bolivia. Mary and Trudy are leaving. Hank and Whitey looking for apartments again. You know, Mike, I think I'll spend the rest of the winter somewhere else.
Well, why? What's wrong with this place?
Well, since Jim and the boys lost their big chance, all the happiness that filled this old house is gone. It's like a morgue. I was looking over the old Gugelhoff place this afternoon.
The Gugelhoff place? Well, that doesn't compare with this.
Mike, a house, any house, is only what its occupants make it. Well, I think I'll make some coffee. Need a caviar sandwich. Oh, well, hello, Jim.
Hey, Mac.
Hey, Jim.
Hello, Mike.
Jim, you don't want to go to Bolivia?
Well, why not?
Well, perhaps if you had a talk with O'Connor, you wouldn't have to go to Bolivia.
O'Connor?
Yeah.
Now, how are you going to talk to that old octopus if you can't even see him?
Well, maybe you can see him. I have a friend who works in his office building. He's a janitor there. And believe it or not, O'Connor thinks an awful lot of old Charlie.
Oh, now, wait a minute, Mike.
I hope you don't mind, Jim, but I asked Charlie to ask Mr. O'Connor to give you an appointment. And guess what? He'll see you in 1 hour.
Mike, have you been playing millionaire on the phone again?
No. I know what I'm saying, Jim. Oh, don't pass up this chance.
Okay, Mike, okay. It won't be the first office I've been thrown out of.
Hello. Farrell, send my car for me right away. I'm coming to the office. No, not to the house, you idiot. I'll be in the park. Hurry.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. I know this is a silly question, but may I see Mr. Mr. O'Connor? My name's Mr. Bullock.
Oh, yes, Mr. Bullock. He's expecting you. Straight ahead.
Take another wire to Anderson. I thought I told you to transfer that cash to our Paris account. Can't I leave 5 minutes without things going haywire? Send $2 million immediately.
What? What in the name of...
Sit down, Jim. I'm using a dictaphone. Have lawyers phone San Francisco immediately. If the lumber contracts aren't signed tomorrow, the deal is off.
Mike, are you nuts? Stop playing millionaire now. Get away from O'Connor's desk.
Send cable to London. Canadian Holdings for sale. Price $12 million.
All right, so long, Mike. I'm going to get a doctor.
Sorry, I beg your pardon, sir. Here are the Camp Kilson papers, Mr. O'Connor. If you need me, I'll be in the outer office, sir.
Did he just say O'Connor?
Oh, Why not? That's my name.
But he.
Here now, don't start popping questions. I haven't time, Jim. I'm transferring Camp Kilson to you and Hank and Whitey. Here are the papers. But there's one thing you must do for me.
What?
Not one word of this must ever reach McKeever. As far as he's concerned, I'm still just a panhandler. Is that clear?
I think so.
You were right, Farrell. Bring in the water. He's fainted.
Oh boy, that was the best thing I can remember.
No, I've never done this before, folks. But I think the occasion warrants a bottle of Mr. O'Connor's best champagne. Now, if everyone will please take a glass.
Wonderful.
Myself right here. There you go.
Great idea.
Now, this toast is to Mike. To Mike, who saved the day.
Well, I'm glad I was able to be of service. And even though Mac here chooses to think of me as a drifter, a panhandler, and a man of little principle.
Oh, water under the bridge, Mike. Please try to forget that I ever said it.
Mac, it's already forgotten.
Well, it's too bad we have to leave here, but since Mr. O'Connor told Jim that he's coming back to his house, and since I've already made arrangements at the Google Huff Mansion, perhaps it's all for the best. Our paths may never cross again, but it's wonderful to know that you've all been my friends. For to be without friends is a very serious form of poverty.
Mac, look. Trudy and I are going to get married, and, you know,
That's fine. That's just fine.
A double wedding, Mac. Mike and I are getting married too.
And what Jim means is that we're going to have plenty of room, and you can stay with us.
Oh, but Mike and I were hoping you'd come with us.
Well, how about it, Mac?
Thanks. Thanks to all of you, but you have your own lives to lead, and it's a little too late for me to change. Besides, I may decide to go down to Virginia. There's a lovely house in Bubbling Springs. It's Mr. O'Connor's place. When he comes back here, I usually go down there. Well, I'll see you all in the morning. I'd better take a walk with Sam.
Well, Mac, we're all out of the house now. Hey, Mac, where are you going?
What? Through the fence here, Jim. The same way I came in.
Well, yeah, I guess we'd all better leave that way, huh?
Well, perhaps we shouldn't all leave at once. Jim, Trudy, you go first.
Goodbye, Mr. McKeever.
Goodbye, dear. I hope you'll be very happy.
Thank you.
Mac, I'll never forget you. Thank you. Good luck.
Oh, thank you, Jim. My, they're a nice couple, aren't they, Mary?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I nearly forgot. Mike, in case you have no place to spend your honeymoon, here are the keys to the Vandervender mansion. They're in Europe.
Well, thanks, Mac. Thanks.
Oh, Mary, if he doesn't treat you right, you come back and report to me. I'll be here again next November 3rd.
That's a date, Mac.
Well, goodbye, Mary. Goodbye, Mike. Come on, Sammy. That's a good old dog. Come on. We'll be on our way. Come on, Sam.
You know, Mary, there are richer men than I.
Michael.
Mary, remind me to nail up the boards in the fence, will you? Next November, he's coming through the front door.
Goodbye.
You have been listening to an Apples of Gold radio adaptation of the movie It Happened on Fifth Avenue, with Kenny Bass as Aloysius McKeever and Mr. Finkelhoff, Tim Bogus as Michael J. O'Connor, Harper Imch as Jim Bullock, Cheryl Webb as Trudy O'Connor, and Elizabeth Carey Brown as Mary O'Connor, Margie Johnson, Alice Anderson, the receptionist, and the operator. Apples of Gold is directed by Danny Webb and produced by Rodney Pell. This is Rodney Pell speaking. Now, here is director Danny Webb with his closing devotional.
The 1947 movie, It Happened on Fifth Avenue, was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Story, but lost to another Christmas-themed movie, Miracle on 34th Street. While not an aficionado, I am a fan of a feel-good Christmas story. My all-time favorite would be Miracle on 34th Street, followed closely by the 1951 Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, featuring Alastair Sim, and released under the title Scrooge. I am not sure why I'm drawn in this direction, but ever since I made my stage debut in our 1951 Church's Christmas program as a 4-year-old, Christmas has always been the most wonderful time of the year. I do not remember that initial exposure to the performing arts, but tell it as it was explained to me. Our family attended a small country church. The annual Christmas program was the high point of the year. The sanctuary was always packed for this annual event. I was a member of the children's choir that opened the service. As I stood in front of that crowd of smiling faces, waiting for the opening chord to start and begin my initial performance, I was extremely nervous. The small church was filled beyond capacity. And in addition to the regular attendees, there were extended family members present and community folks who had made their annual pilgrimage. The atmosphere was electric. The result was that when the pianist hit the opening chord and the director signaled to begin, I sang out with gusto, and my bellowing heralded above all others. And in addition, I stayed one word ahead of the other choir members throughout the whole song. By the time I reached the song's conclusion and waited for the others to finish, I had stolen the show, and it felt good. The thrill of performing at Christmas has stayed with me. Hence, Apples of Gold and the recreation of old-time radio shows using a local cast of voice actors. I became a Christian when I turned 21. And do you know what I found out after I was saved? My love for Christ, after I was born again, made Christmas more thrilling than ever. Surrendering my heart and life to Jesus enhanced my childlike excitement as I attempted to put Christ first in all I did. As I have often heard it said, you can't outgive the Lord. Understand? The worship of Jesus as my priority allowed me to enjoy Christmas more than ever. Have you lost your Christmas joy? Do you dread Christmas because want is keenly felt and abundance rejoices? Some personal inventory is suggested. Are you saved? If not, then ask Jesus into your life by faith now. If you are born again, then I suggest you pray a quote from the book of Job. That which I see not teach you me. If I have done iniquity, I will do no more.